When we visited St. Kitts on our recent Princess cruise, we decided to take it pretty easy that day, but there was still plenty to do and we had a fantastic time. If you've missed any of my previous cruise videos, I will link them in the description box down below, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications because I have plenty more cruise videos to come. Typically, we prefer to book a lot of excursions on our port days so that we get a lot of fun experiences jammed into one trip, but on this particular itinerary, we had so many back-to-back port days that we knew if we did an excursion on every single one of those, we would just be exhausted. So we decided to pick one to keep that day sort of calm and relaxing, and for us on this trip, that was St. Kitts. There were a few other cruise ships in port on the same day, including right next door another Princess cruise ship, but the port itself wasn't super crowded and jam-packed with people. And as is pretty standard with a cruise, pretty much as soon as you get off the pier, you are surrounded by shopping. A couple years ago, the center stone for my engagement ring fell out, and we replaced it with a sort of cheapy lab-created one that I wasn't super thrilled with, but it was fine. It's sort of holding place and everything's all right, but it's not as exciting and interesting as the original one was. So we kind of had this idea that we're kind of keeping an eye out for a blue diamond to replace it, and we were kind of looking for that on this cruise, but definitely not just wanting to dive in. We wanted to make sure we found the right stone. So since we didn't have any major plans while we were in St. Kitts, we were hopping into a lot of jewelry stores, sort of hoping and kind of looking for that, but not dead set on making a purchase. We didn't find a center stone for my ring, but I did come back with some blue diamonds, so I'm totally counting that as a win. We also picked up some really cool souvenirs at this island, including some great Christmas presents for nieces and whatnot, and that will be in the souvenir haul video that is linked down below. Anytime we head into port, I usually like to take the daily schedule with me. For one thing, there's usually a pretty decent map of the port, so whether you're wandering aimlessly and need to find your way back, or if you're looking for specific places, those maps can be fairly convenient. But there's also usually some little coupons and discount codes for either percentages off at certain stores or sometimes little freebies, and usually those don't have any sort of a purchase required, so I always like to take those, and even if we don't specifically seek those out, if we happen to be in a store, we'll be like, hey, wait a minute, wasn't this one of the ones? And usually you pull this out and you get a cute little freebie out of it. With St. Kitts in particular, as I said, we didn't have a set goal, so other than finding my ring and getting a few fun little souvenirs for the nieces and nephew back home, we just sort of wandered and had a nice relaxing day, and that worked out very well in that particular port. Mostly we were just trying to relax and have a nice calm day. Eventually, we made our way back to the ship to grab a quick bite to eat for lunch, and then while the ship was mostly empty, we wandered about the ship, took that all in, even did a little bit of filming for my ship tour of the Crown Princess, which is also linked down below. Earlier in the week, on our first sea day, we had signed up for the Escape Room Challenge, and we were told to meet at 5:50 at the Mix Bar to get together with the group there. Unfortunately, I was not allowed to film the escape room, which I understand, but I can give you a quick little rundown of it without trying to give away too many spoilers. The crew member that we met with at the mix was Bree, and she told us some fun little ghost stories associated with the ship and this particular escape room challenge. Then she led us up to the chapel, and that's where the actual event was taking place. Once we were all gathered in the chapel, we were given some brief instructions and a pile of cases and puzzles, and then they locked the door and started the countdown. And of course, we did complete with plenty of time to spare. Once we were done with the escape room, we had a nice relaxing dinner and then headed to the main theater for that night's entertainment. And after that, we were pretty tired. Despite it being a nice relaxing day, it was a lot of sun, a lot of heat, and a lot of walking around. So we called it a night early that night just to get relaxed for those upcoming port days. So if your itinerary has a whole bunch of port days lined up back to back, I definitely highly recommend having a nice, calm, relaxing day sandwiched in there somewhere in the middle. It's just going to make things so much nicer and easier on you, and in the long run, while you might miss out on an excursion or two, I think you're going to have a much more relaxing and wonderful vacation overall. If you found this helpful, I hope you will like down below. Let me know in the comments what you like to do on those nice, relaxing port days. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.